A potato grow bag can look like a complete success from the patio. The stems rise, the leaves spread, and the container turns into a waist-high green fountain. Then harvest day arrives. You tip the bag onto a tarp, sift through all that potting mix, and find a handful of potatoes no bigger than marbles. The bag did grow something impressive, but it spent too much of the season building the part above the soil. The real question is why the underground crop never caught up. If you enjoy this video, subscribe to Pollinator now. Start with the plant itself. An Irish potato is not a swollen root. Each tuber is a modified stem that develops at the end of a slender underground stem called a stolon. Those stolons form around the buried part of the plant, generally close to the original seed piece. That detail explains why a potato bag works and why a towering cylinder full of soil often disappoints. Adding more height does not automatically create a new floor of potatoes every few inches. University of Maryland Extension puts it plainly. Potatoes can grow well in containers, but potato towers do not usually work. So treat a grow bag as a compact field, not a magic tower. The job is to provide a useful tuber zone, healthy foliage to power it, and conditions that let the plant shift from green growth into tuber formation and bulking. If one of those parts fails, the leaves can still look magnificent while the harvest stays small. The first decision happens before the bag is filled. Buy certified seed potatoes from a reputable garden supplier. A supermarket potato may sprout, but food potatoes can carry diseases without obvious symptoms, and some have been treated to slow sprouting. A certified seed label also gives you a known variety and maturity range, which matters when you are trying to finish a crop before summer heat or fall frost. Small seed potatoes can go in whole. Larger ones can be cut into roughly egg-sized pieces, each with at least one sound eye. Let the cut surfaces dry and heal for a day or two before planting. That short pause reduces the chance that a fresh, wet cut will rot in the container. If a piece is soft, moldy, or smells wrong, leave it out. A grow bag offers very little room for a bad seed piece to become everybody else's problem. Next, give each plant honest space. A practical extension starting point is about 5 gallons of potting media per potato plant. That means a 10-gallon bag is better treated as room for about 2 plants than as a place to bury every sprouting piece in the packet. Crowding can produce plenty of stems, but every developing tuber is competing inside the same limited volume for water, oxygen, and nutrients. Container shape matters too. Choose an opaque bag or pot with free drainage and place it where runoff can escape. A 10 to 15-gallon container is a useful size for a patio crop because it provides workable depth without becoming so tall that the upper mix dries while the bottom stays soggy. More container can support more plants, but only if the surface area, drainage, and soil volume increase with it. Fill that container with a loose potting mix, not heavy soil shoveled from the yard. Native soil can compact inside a pot, leaving a strange combination of slow drainage and hard, dry clods. A soilless container mix blended with finished compost creates air spaces while holding useful moisture. Begin with several inches in the bottom, set the seed pieces apart, and cover them with several more inches. The exact depths can vary with the container and local guidance, but the goal is a loose, covered seed zone, not a compressed sack of mud. Now comes the factor a bag cannot fix by itself: timing. Potatoes are a cool season crop. They need enough light for strong foliage, but tuber development suffers when the root zone becomes too hot. University of Maryland Extension notes that soil temperatures above 80 degrees Fahrenheit inhibit tuber development. That can produce the most confusing failure of all: a leafy plant with little happening below. In northern and mid-Atlantic gardens, potatoes usually fit into the cool spring window after prolonged freezing conditions have passed. In Florida, that northern calendar is backwards. University of Florida guidance places much of the state's potato planting in winter, with South Florida planting from October through January and North and Central Florida extending into February. Across the hot South and desert Southwest, the safe approach is to work backward from sustained heat and use your county extension planting calendar. The right month in Minnesota can be exactly the wrong month in Miami. A bag sitting on reflected concrete can warm and dry faster than a garden bed, so judge the root zone rather than the air alone. If summer heat is approaching before tubers have begun to bulk, moving the container into gentle afternoon shade may reduce stress while preserving strong morning light. That is a rescue measure, not an excuse to start a cool season crop in midsummer. At least 6 hours of direct sun is a sound target, and a cooler planting window remains more important than trying to shade a badly timed crop. Watering is where the container earns its convenience and creates its biggest risk. Push a finger into the top inch or two of mix. If that layer is dry, water slowly until some drains from the bottom. Then check again as weather changes. A rigid every other day schedule ignores wind, rainfall, plant size, bag fabric and temperature. A small plant in cool weather uses far less water than a full canopy on a windy afternoon. The aim is even moisture, never permanent saturation. Drought during tuber enlargement can reduce formation and create misshapen potatoes. A waterlogged bottom pushes oxygen out of the root zone and encourages decay. Empty any saucer that holds runoff. Lift a blocked container onto pot feet and make sure drainage holes have not sealed against the patio. If water races down the wall and exits while the center stays dry, the mix may have shrunk away from the bag. Apply water more slowly in passes so the root zone actually re-wets. If practical, direct water onto the mix in the morning instead of repeatedly soaking the leaves at night. Dry foliage reduces the long damp period that favors several potato diseases. While you are there, turn over a few leaves. Orange egg clusters can signal Colorado potato beetles, and early removal is much easier in 2 patio bags than after larvae spread through the canopy. If this kind of evidence-based small space gardening helps you sort useful advice from garden folklore, subscribe to Pollinator. The next decision is the one that creates the luscious disappointment. Potatoes need nutrients, and frequent container watering carries nutrients out through the drainage holes. But a green canopy is not permission to keep pouring on nitrogen. Excess nitrogen can drive excessive vine growth, delay maturity, and leave tuber formation behind. Account for any fertilizer already mixed into the potting media. Choose a product labeled for container vegetables or potatoes and follow its rate. More fertilizer is not a shortcut once the leaves already look vigorous. It can also build damaging salts in a confined root zone. That brings us to hilling. As stems grow, add loose mix around the lower stems in modest layers while leaving plenty of green foliage exposed. The dependable purpose is to keep shallow tubers covered. Light turns exposed potato skin green, and green tubers should not be eaten. Hilling also maintains a friable zone around developing stolons. What it cannot guarantee is a stack of tubers from the bottom of a 4-foot tower to the top. If the season is hot, the bag is crowded, or the bottom is saturated, another scoop of soil does not solve the real problem. You can often diagnose the crop before harvest. Strong leaves with no obvious stress suggest that light and nitrogen are available, so check timing, crowding, and root zone temperature. Pale plants may need a closer look at fertility, drainage, or disease. Wilting in wet mix points toward damaged roots rather than thirst. Dark lesions spreading across damp foliage deserve prompt identification through your local extension office, especially because potatoes share several serious diseases with tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. Do not use flowers as a perfect countdown clock. Potato varieties flower differently, and tuber initiation can begin before bloom. If you want tender new potatoes, some extension guidance allows a careful sample around 7 or 8 weeks after planting. But those small, thin-skinned tubers are for prompt use. For a mature crop, wait for the tops to yellow and die back according to the variety's normal season. Reduce irrigation as the plant finishes, protect the bag from soaking rain, and harvest gently so the skins are not bruised. Tip the container onto a tarp in shade and sort through it by hand. Keep sound potatoes out of direct light, brush off dry soil, and wait to wash them until you are ready to use them. Discard green tubers and anything soft or diseased. If the harvest is small, count the clues before calling the entire method a failure. Were there too many plants? Did the bag stay wet at the bottom? Did it hit prolonged heat before bulking? Was nitrogen added to an already lush canopy? Did the crop simply need more time? That 5-question check is more useful than comparing your bag with a dramatic harvest from another climate. Container potatoes do not have to beat an in-ground road to earn their place. They can turn a porch, balcony, or paved side yard into productive garden space, make harvest easier for a gardener with limited mobility, and isolate the crop from poor native soil. Their advantage is control and convenience, not a guaranteed record yield. When the system is matched to the plant, the green canopy stops being the whole story. Beneath it is a cool, loose, evenly moist zone with enough room for tubers to swell. The next time a potato bag is tipped onto a tarp, the important part will not be how tall the vines grew, it will be what the leaves quietly built underground.